In the news tonight, Anambra State government to commence enumeration, branding and certification of commercial motorcyclists. Traditional rulers back Anambra State government on campaign against gender-based violence. On national matters, TETFund-sponsored COVID-19 vaccine to be ready in November this year. On the foreign scene, Israeli army kills 2 Palestinian men in occupied West Bank. Before the news in details, here is a special message. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has called for a total turnaround maintenance of Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo value. Let's give him maximum support for the task ahead. Good evening and thanks for joining us on ABS Evening News. My name is Chinyere Ikioreke. Anambra State government is to commence enumeration, branding and certification of commercial motorcycle riders in the state. Anambra State Commissioner for Information, Sir Paul Wonsu, who stated this while receiving members of Anambra Professional Photographers and Videographers Association, who paid him a courtesy visit in his office in Oka, stressed the need for enumeration, certification and validation of their members to know their numerical strength. Staff reporter Njideka Okoye covered the event and now reports.
Commissioner Wonsu noted that the process is in line with the measures that has been taken by government to know who is who in a given environment, which he said is very important to the administration of Professor Chukwuma Soludo, urging them to spread out their membership to all communities in the state for the association to add value. Sir Paul, who reminded them that they are into the business of image making, noting that images talk louder than words and voice, explained to them that their work is beyond taking pictures and videos in return for money, but should also include carrying out their civic responsibilities, especially supporting state security network, as security is not only the work of security personnel, since their performance depends on the information they get. The Information Commissioner stated that government is in the process of reviewing over 200 laws and introducing new ones, and charged them to do their work in a responsible manner and add creativity to bring dignity to the profession, as they have limitless opportunities in the profession, and thanked them for the visit.
There is creativity to photography. People get rich by just going into the bush to photograph animals. There are people who have made money just photographing nature. These are some of the images we see. We go and Google, and most of these things you see up there, for everything in a Google now download, the person is getting money. That is the level I want our photography to go.
Earlier, the chairman of the association, Comrade Obinno Okonkwo, said that the aim of their visit was to familiarize with the commissioner, intimate him on the activities of the association, and to discuss possible areas of collaboration, which they believe will build a strong and mutual relationship.
We have come here to, first of all, congratulate him on his appointment, and then also secondly to let him know that the Association of Photographers and Videographers exists in Anambra State. Also, we also want to seek collaboration so that we can partner with the ministry to also contribute our own little quota to what His Excellency is already doing in Anambra State.
In a remark, a member of the delegation, Mr. Bonvera Ndubisi, thanked Commissioner Wonsu for warm reception and commended his open-door policy. In Oka, Njideka Okoye for ABS News.
Anambra State's traditional rulers have condemned all forms of violence against women and girls in the state. They made the statement during a stakeholders conference between the traditional rulers, the Women Aid Collective, WACO, in partnership with Ford Foundation West Africa, with support from Ministry of Local Government Chieftaincy and Community Affairs, and the 50-50 Action Women of the state, held at Nibu, Oka South Local Government Area. We have details.
The traditional rulers called for elimination of violence against women and girls, assuring that they are committed that women and girls are treated fairly by both tradition and society, including eliminating harmful traditional practices against widows, denial of inheritance, forced and girl child marriages, harmful rituals, exploitation and trafficking of women and girls, as well as degrading treatments and practices. They restated support for inclusion of women in decision-making and would consider the inclusion of women in the leadership of traditional institutions and leadership at all levels. Some of the traditional rulers who spoke individually at the event, including traditional ruler of Okpuno, Igwe Sunday Okafor, Igwe Christopher Okpala of Akweze, Igwe Aloysius Mogalo of Isofia, and his Enugu Umuonia counterpart, Igwe Peter Ezeamama, commended the founder of Ford Foundation, Professor Joy Ezilo, for championing the cause of women and also frowned at parents that do not pay school fees of their girl child. On his part, the Commissioner for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Community Affairs, Mr. Collins Nwabunwanne, remarked that Governor Chukwuma Soludo's administration has zero tolerance for violence against women and called for inclusion of teaching on non-violence against women in schools, educating males to treat the girl child with passion and care. On her part, the Commissioner for Women Affairs, Mrs. Ifi Obinabo, applauded Governor Chukwuma Soludo's administration for the establishment of family courts to try offenders, as well as frowned at men that abuse women and harped on the need to give girl children listening ear, especially the married ones, whenever they brought about complaint on domestic violence. The founder of the group, Professor Joy Ezilo, resource persons, Professor Ogugwa Ikpeze, Professor Ofonze Amuchaze, and Professor Stella Okunna, among others, sensitized the participants on the fact that violence can negatively affect women physically, mentally, economically, and sexually, enumerating types of violence to include emotional violence, which they said can be done through verbal abuse, threats, insults, coercive control, intimidation, and humiliation.
The Inspector General of Police, Mr. Baba Usman, has decorated 39 police officers recently promoted from Deputy Superintendent of Police to Superintendent of Police. The decoration, which took place at the Anambra State Police Command Headquarters in Awka, attracted friends and well-wishers of the officers. Ebeleze was there and reports.
Inspector General of Police, Mr. Usman, during the ceremony, charged the newly decorated officers to discharge their duties diligently by serving the people with utmost professionalism. The Inspector General of Police, who was represented by the Anambra State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Echeng, noted that officers were found worthy of the promotion by the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces and the Police Service Commission after going through their details thoroughly, while describing promotion as one that comes from God with his responsibilities. Mr. Usman, who warned them against acts capable of drawing the Nigerian police to the mud, maintained that he will not tolerate any kind of unethical behavior from any officer.
We have 26 officers who have been promoted from the ranks of DSP to Superintendent of Police. These are people that have been found worthy by the head of states and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, the Inspector General of Police. You're going to experience or get new postings. Some of those postings will take you to be divisional police officers, or other responsibilities will be given to you. It is expected that you are going to perform well and excellently. You're going to serve the public, you're going to serve the people that you're going to meet. And know also that where you're found wanting, the force will not tolerate you. Because for everything that the present ID has done is to take the police to a higher height, is to make sure that we occupy the right space that we are supposed to occupy, especially in the internal security platform, and also to make sure that our service is in tandem with 21st century policing that is accepted everywhere.
In a vote of thanks, one of the decorated officers and divisional crime officer in charge of the Awada Police Division, Superintendent of Police Emmanuel Ogu, while thanking God for the honor, assured of their readiness to make Nigerian police proud. For the officer in charge of sports in the Anambra State Police Command, Superintendent of Police Dan Terry Wire, who appealed to the Anambra to assist them in combating insecurity bedeviling the Nigerian nation, described security of life and property as everybody's business.
The rank is a mark of responsibility, and we believe that with the new rank, we will live up to expectations. Everybody is a security of his community, and we are also, you just discovered that some of us are from other states working in Anambra State. So we are appealing to Anambrans. They should assist us in combating crime. If you have anything you notice within your community, you let the police know, because we are not magicians. We cannot detect. If you need a peaceful community, you give information to the police.
On her part, Superintendent of Police Rosalind Patron from Otolo Police Station, Newe, thanked God for making their dream come true, assuring to redouble their efforts in the fight against crime and criminality.
I'm very happy to get the rank because I've been expecting the rank for long. But I thank God today I hang my rank. I give glory to God. He has given me more morale to do the job. It is now that I've started doing the job. And a new thing, I'm already experiencing new thing in me. A new spirit is already in me. So I'm going to do the work to my best.
The reward for hard work is more work. Promotion also is a reward for hard work, and it calls for more responsibilities. In Oka, Ebele Eze, ABS News.
The presidential candidate of All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA, Professor Peter Umeadi, says the involvement of personal interest in governance is the bane of Nigerian nation. Professor Umeadi stated this during a thank-you visit to the Association of Past Presidents General in Anambra State, held in Oka. Correspondent Queen Anibogo reports.
The APGA presidential candidate, who was accompanied to the visit by his team, said that APPAS is the first grassroots group to endorse his presidential ambition, which was why he came to appreciate them for the gesture. On tackling Nigerian challenges of corruption and insecurity, Professor Umeadi said the triple banners of rule of law, separation of power, and due process must be employed for good governance to be realized. The presidential candidate, who described himself as the face of APGA in Nigeria, recalled how the political parties started his political journey in Nigeria, adding that APGA is the identity through which the Southeast will actualize its desire for Nigerian presidency.
Actually, can give this credit to our past. Dalulu, even to a Kangunubu. Now, never Moko.
Earlier in his remarks, the national president of APPAS, Chief Omife I. Omife, while welcoming the APGA presidential candidate, recounted the efforts of the association in conveying him to vie for Nigerian presidency. He promised that the Southeast group of APPAS will put into consideration the request of the APGA presidential candidate.
I am about the lucky way to Peters, Nazo president. Well, this one is quite different. Elected one of us, Professor Umeadi, to be the presidential candidate whom we shall support.
Contributing, the past President General of Umunze, Brother Chris Ama, affirmed that it is the turn of the Southeast to produce the President of Nigeria, noting that Professor Umeadi of APGA has paid his dues in Anambra State as one-time Chief Judge of the state, calling for consent efforts to achieve the vision of Ndi Igbo.
Professor Umeadi has paid his dues. People looked at him and knew what he was worth and what he is worth, and decided to ensure that he gets to the pinnacle of his profession. What we want, bo, ka anyị jekọ n'ọnụ biko Chukwu gozie unu cha niile.
Group from Nkerehi community, Orumba South local government area, have protested the purported change of the community's name to Umuchukwu without due consultation with stakeholders of the community and members of town union executive. Kenechi Kuchukudi has details.
The protesters marched to the government house gate, Oka, displaying placards with various inscriptions, including "Governor, please set up a panel to wade into Nkerehi Umuchukwu crisis. Please avert further bloodshed in Nkerehi," amongst other inscriptions which beckoned on the government for action. Speaking on behalf of the protesters, the Secretary General of Nkerehi Progressive Union, Mr. Joseph Anulobi, said the name of the community was changed overnight without necessary consultations with indigenes and stakeholders in 2007, while some persons were allegedly directed by an individual to change the signposts in the community without due consultation, despite court orders against the change.
Us to come here and protest was dated back in 2007, precisely February 24th. Changed the name of Nkerehi to Umuchukwu without the consent of the town union, of which I happen to be the secretary, without the consent of the people. That is why we are. So the problem triggered us. This is 16 years with all manners of assault meted on the Nkerehi people.
Also speaking, Barrister Basiu Igwike, an indigene of the community, said the forceful change of their ancestral name is most unfortunate, as a name is historical to a people. He emphasized that all court processes must be respected to ensure peaceful resolution of the issue, while calling on government to look into the issue with a bid to finding a lasting solution.
And attempted change of our name, ancestral name, from Nkerehi to Umuchukwu. Since then, the community has not known peace till today, and that is the reason why we came to the governor. We've been protesting to the past governments. During the time of Peter Obi, we came. During the time of Akpoko Dike, we came, and this time around, our protest today is simply a cry to save our souls to the governor, to wade into Nkerehi Umuchukwu communal crisis with the view of finding lasting solution to the problem.
A government representative who addressed the protesters, Mr. Kinsley Nkume, commended them for their peaceful protest and assured them that their plea will get to the governor. In Oka, it's been Kenechukwu Chukwudi for ABS News.
We'll take a break now, and when the news returns, TEDFund-sponsored COVID-19 vaccine will be ready November this year. Israeli army kills 2 Palestinian men in occupied West Bank. Here is a special message. India Anambra cannot allow criminal elements to hold the state and the people to ransom. Donate generously to Anambra State Security Trust Fund, which has been set up to raise money for combating insecurity in the state. Stay with us.
So you gotta have a smile, no matter what it takes. Gotta take your place now, and love the way it tastes. Feel the pure bliss burst from the toes to your face. Gotta take your place now, feel the bliss today.
Light up your day anywhere, even at home, with the rich, creamy taste of pure bliss.
Traveling? You deserve the absolute best. Enjoy maximum comfort in our new buses with more legroom, reclinable seats, onboard entertainment, and much more. Pick your preferred seat. Choose your preferred schedule. Travel on your terms. Ready for a premium ride driven by the best captains out there? Book now.
Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, you're watching ABS Television Evening News. The Tertiary Institutions and Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TEDFund, has said the COVID-19 vaccine project it sponsored will be ready for the first clinical trial in November 2022. TETFund disclosed that through its intervention, Nigerians had overcome the usual long wait of collecting their COVID-19 sample and test. Sonny Echeno, the executive secretary of the TETFund, said, with the intervention of the fund, Nigerians can get their COVID-19 test and result within 7 days. Speaking while receiving the Senate Committee on Tertiary Institution and Tertiary Education Trust Fund, Echeno said 12 molecular labs have been established in all the geopolitical zones around the country. The committee visited TETFund as part of its oversight visit to ascertain the level of the 2021-2022 performance of the budget. He informed the committee about the plan of the TETFund to commence constructing zonal offices in the state by next year. Echeno said that TETFund is collaborating with the Mathematical Center and the 3 other inter-university centers in areas like research. Echeno disclosed that TETFund is also funding research in Lassa fever and communicable diseases. The federal government has said that 10 states were to contribute 1,000 megawatts of off-grid electricity to the quantum of power being produced across the country. It said each of the states would generate 100 megawatts of solar power, noting that it was currently enabling off-grid electricity projects in their various domains. The Minister of Power, Abubakar Aliyu, stated that countries over the world were variously exploring avenues of fulfilling their specific commitments and nationally determined contributions with the Paris Agreement on climate change. The minister noted that to achieve Nigeria's commitment to climate change, the federal government was implementing different initiatives targeted at achieving at least 30,000 megawatt generation by 2030, with 30% from renewable energy sources. On the foreign scene, the Israeli army has killed 2 Palestinian men during 2 separate raids in the occupied West Bank, according to the Palestinian Health Ministry and the state news agency. The men were identified as Sema Khalid, 25, from Al-Ain refugee camp in Nablus, and Hassan Afani, 26, in Umar Shaharet, a neighborhood south of Ramallah and El Biren. Khalid was killed after confrontation broke out with the Israeli army during its raid on the Belata refugee camp in Nablus, according to the official Wafa news agency. The Israeli army did not comment on the killing but said its forces had operated in the Belata camp and arrested wanted suspects. The Israeli army killed Afana about an hour later during confrontation that broke out following its raid on al-Shariat. Israeli forces said they had information regarding the allegation of 5 dead Palestinians. The army spokesperson said that they had conducted operation in Al-Bared and confiscated funds that were suspected to be destined for terrorism. In sport, Manchester City strengthened their injury-hit defense by signing Swiss international Manuel Akanji on a 5-year deal from Borussia Dortmund. Akanji will provide the Premier League champion with extra defense depth after recent injuries to centre-back Aymeric Laporte and Nathan Ake. The 27-year-old spent 4.5 seasons with Dortmund after signing from Basel in 2018. Akanji's City is 5th summer signing after former Dortmund teammate Erling Haaland, Calvin Phillips, Sergio Gomez and Stefan Ortega Moreno. Both Akanji and Haaland will face their former club on September 14th, with Dortmund due to play City at the Etihad Stadium in the Champions League group stage. Remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by liking our Facebook page at ABS Radio Television. Subscribe to our YouTube at youtube.com/ABS Television Oka. Follow us on Instagram at ABS Radio TV. You can also log on to our website at www.absradiotv.com. And the main points again. Anambra State government is to commence enumeration, branding and certification of commercial motorcyclists. Traditional rulers are backing Anambra State government on campaign against gender-based violence. And we told you that on national matters that TETFund-sponsored COVID-19 vaccine to be ready November this year. On the foreign scene, Israeli army has killed 2 Palestinian men in occupied West Bank. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has called for a total turnaround maintenance of Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let's give him maximum support for the task ahead. Thanks for watching. My name is Chinyere Ikioreke. Good night.